Hello and welcome to NOV Live. I'm Michael Gaines and glad you're joining us today as we have a conversation, an ongoing conversation about technology and the people helping make it happen in the energy industry. So glad you're joining us for that today. We are always glad to have you join us here every Wednesday at 11 Central Time here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So before we dive into our topic today, we're going to go ahead and bring in the expert of all things social here at NOV, Shelby Demain, to talk about how you can up your social skills and game and use that here right on the show. Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Michael. I gotta say, be careful what you wish for, because all it takes is giving me a couple minutes, and I'll run with it and tell you all about everything about social. But I'll save everybody from too much today, and just let everyone know that if they're tuning in and watching us and they have a question for our guest, which we'll be bringing on here in a few minutes. Or even Michael, I'm going to put you in the hot spot. If they have a question for you, they can comment those below, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. I stay in the comment section throughout the entire show, reading everything, seeing what everyone's saying. And then at the end of the episode, we'll do a live Q&A with our expert and get as many of those questions answered. And if you want to test out the comment section now, we'll have a chance in a moment for Rig Geeks, but I'd also like to invite everyone to let us know where you're watching from. I think that's maybe one of my favorite parts, is getting to see where everyone is in the world, where they're tuning in from. I'm just looking real quick. I see Houston, of course, we see them a lot. Also Beirut, Senegal. So that's really great seeing where everyone's watching, and we love that. Say after the show, if you have more questions or maybe just want to let us know something you would like to see on a future episode, you can do so a couple different ways. The first is you can actually email us. That email is socialmedia@nov.com. I love getting to see from our viewers there in that inbox. And then the other way, and longtime viewers will know this is maybe my favorite way, is you can actually give us a call. So you can call us, leave a voicemail, you can stay anonymous, or let us know maybe your name and where you work or where you're from. And that number is on screen now. It's country code +1 346 223 4799. So definitely would love to hear from you. Again, though, I want to say the easiest way to comment is simply by doing it in the comment section here, wherever you're watching, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And so now that you know all the different ways that you can ask us your question, it's the time of the show where I will ask you a question. So it's time for the Rig Geek Post of the Week.
Rig Geeks Post of the Week.
All right. So if you're a first-time viewer of the show, this is the segment where, like I said, we ask you a question for all of our Rig Geeks there in the comments. And we invite you to go ahead and type in your answer, whatever you think the answer to the question might be. And then at the end of the episode, we will reveal the answer and kind of see how many of you got it right. And I think this one, I'm interested to see all the different debates and numbers and guesses thrown out there. I think it's a really great question. So the question this week is, how many signals are captured from a drilling rig? So you can guess whether it's land or offshore. We'll have answers for both. But go ahead and put those in the comments. I'd love to hear your guesses for how many signals are captured from a drilling rig. And we will get the answer to you at the end of the show after we talk to our expert.
All right. That sounds good, Shelby. That's a really good one. So how many signals are captured on a drilling rig? All right, cool. Well, I saw a comment just a moment ago asking what today's topic is, and glad to tell you we are talking about digital fundamentals. When we hear the word digital in the energy space, oil and gas, there's probably all kinds of things or ideas or concepts that come to mind. So we decided we'd look inside NOV and find one of our experts to bring you some insight and, of course, take your questions as well today. So I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Ramon Rodriguez, who is with the MD Totco team. He is actually the business development director there. So Ramon, thanks for joining us today, and for all of our global travelers, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Conroe, in Texas.
Okay, so just in the north part of the Houston metro area. Well, great. Well, thanks for joining us today. Really glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to kind of dive in again. As I said, when we hear the word either digital or something similar, I think there are a lot of different concepts and ways you could splice the topic. But for folks that are kind of interested and wanting to know, okay, well, Ramon, you're with the MD Totco team. When you all are looking at data fundamentals, what are those, and how do you and the team approach that concept?
So, being the premier instrumentation company in the world for drilling and completions applications, we take care of all of the aspects of the data since its inception, from the sensors all the way to the analysis of the information. So, data starts at the collection and aggregation point. As you know, quality starts at the origin, and our high quality sensors and data acquisition systems, along with the best practices that we have established over the years for calibration or certification, ensure that we provide the best signal collection at the well site. And once you have the information, whether it is at the well site, in the office, or in the cloud, we make the data easily accessible to our customers. MD Totco's motto is "Our data made easy." And we say that because we make it very easy to our customers to access the data. We use industry standards to provide interfaces to the systems and visualizations to the customers, so they can have their solutions at their fingertips at any one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, when you think about it, I mean, it's no point in having a lot of data if you can't access it in an easy way. So no, I like that. I like that approach.
Yeah. And of course, data being so important in our lives, security is paramount to all of our customers' operations. So again, we both based on corporate and the business unit practices, we have very strict policies and procedures in the handling and the protection of our customers' data. We have employed very stringent cybersecurity standards to guarantee that confidentiality. And we are constantly being independently reviewed by third-party audits to verify that what we're doing, what we're saying we're doing. So in that aspect, we have certifications like the ISO 27001, which is an information security management system certification, and the ISO 27018, which is another information security management standard for data privacy and on the cloud.
So one of the things, so you're talking kind of how you look at the world of data, and especially from maybe from an MD Totco standpoint. So I mean, you've talked about accessibility, you talked about security, which I agree those are key, and especially security. But when you're looking at the data, how do you and the team really help provide that kind of additional layer of either value add or perspective for customers?
Well, and that's where the value to the customers and to the industry is, and is the use of the information. So the information, the data, is used to make decisions, be it gain insights in the operation, make optimizations, is the basis of the decision making. So part of what we do with the information is provide tools to enrich that data through models, through analytics that make the information rich, which means that the customers have more context on how to use the information. And coupled with that accessibility and the integration of the information we generate with the customer's information from their project databases, make it for a great asset in the decision-making process.
So let's take those concepts you've outlined for us. So just you've talked about accessibility, security, enrichment, really taking all those and really that being really kind of the bedrock for the value add that we're able to provide to customers. So maybe help me understand why are those important, and how does that apply kind of in a real world type of application or perspective when you're going ahead.
Yeah, as I said before, the real value of the data is to be the basis for decision making, and really for the customers to be agile enough to take those decisions on time. They have to have the data of the right quality, and that's a key concept: data quality, in the right format that describes their operation and at the right time. As we mentioned before, this data analysis that happens at all levels in our customers' departments is a day-to-day activity that happens in all operations in the oil industry. So not just drilling and completions, which is our specialty, but really all across the board. In our specialty domain, which is the drilling domain, if we don't have the right type of quality of the data, or it's late, or it's not accessible, those analyses are very much affected by that poor quality data. And then we go to the grit and nitty of it. We start looking at real-time operations. And real-time operations are a great tool. Real-time operations monitoring, I should say. And they're a great tool, not only to watch what's happening at the rig site, but also to detect drilling dysfunctions and take the corrective actions based on data and information. There's a number of commonly applied algorithms that allows us to detect things like erratic torque, bit bounce, hole friction. And we have developed specific systems to mitigate those dysfunctions. For example, stick-stick, which is torsional vibration detection, base algorithms that then introduce RPM variations to the top right, are what our soft speed product does. So just to summarize this, the value of the data is very high as long as it's of the right quality and is present at the right time.
So when you look and folks within your team and around are looking at how to provide that data, not only the right data and in the way that the customer needs it, but also at the right time for customers, what are some ways or tools or offerings that we have for them? And as a secondary, can you talk about, because NOV, so we're an original equipment manufacturer and OEM. I'm really interested to hear your perspective on why that's important when we're talking about how we think of data and how we approach it for customers.
So that's an interesting question, because we tend to think of equipment sometimes as iron, and sometimes it's dumb iron. But there is no such thing in our industry anymore. Every piece of equipment that we build and that our customers use for their operations are full of sensors, full of signals, and full of data that is being generated that helps them a lot. Now, as MD Totco, we make very specific offering to the customers to use that information. We are, you mentioned, we're an OEM, and yes, we are the OEM of the sensors and data acquisition systems, the transmission systems, the storage of the information, visualization and analytic tools that we offer to the customers. So the full range, from the collection of the data all the way to the analysis of the information. MD Totco is a business that started many years ago, about 80 years ago. In the instrumentation business, that gave us all the expertise in sensing. And in terms of digital, which is the subject that we're talking about here, we were one of the pioneers in the industry. We have been providing digital solutions for over 20 years. So that pretty much it's a good segue to talk about what we're doing now to modernize and give the customers the latest of the technology available. Recently, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we launched a new service to make the data more accessible to our customers that we're calling the Max Cloud Delivery Service. That allows them to collect the information in traditional ways, like their own data centers, but they also now can use the data from the more modern uh, cloud-based solutions that companies like Amazon with their AWS offering solution, Microsoft with Azure, and Google with their IoT solution. And this is where the industry is going. It's about using cloud-based solutions to analyze the information. Another thing that this new offering enables is very high-speed data management. So we can deliver data from the well site all the way to the data center at 100 hertz, which enables an insight in the operation and on the equipment health that wasn't possible before.
Right.
So the other thing that we offer to our customers by default, because we have such a large footprint, is the largest installed fleet of these instrumentation systems, which make it the default in the industry. And we are also, as part of the MD Totco family, we not only do rig instrumentation, we go subsurface. So we also offer to the customers wire drill pipe, which allows us to transmit at very high speed and accuracy data from downhole tools to the surface, so we can see what's happening at very high resolution downhole.
So if you've just jumped in the conversation today, we're talking with Mr. Ramon Rodriguez, and he is the Director of Business Development at MD Totco, and we are talking about data fundamentals and what that looks like and from NOV and from the MD Totco team. So if you have questions on data, maybe how it works, how it's captured, and maybe how folks like Ramon and others view that here at NOV, feel free to put your question in the comment section, and we will be sure to get to that, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. We'd love to hear what you think, or if you have a question for our subject matter expert today. So Ramon, you've talked about some of the solutions and certainly the approaches to how folks like MD Totco and others approach the challenge, but also opportunity for customers with respect to the things like Max Cloud Delivery Service to make sure that we're able to provide in a secure way, in an easily accessible way, data for our customers. Because like you said, in essence, we're stewards of it, right? It's their data, and we're making it easy for them to be able to get that. So when you look at some of the things that you and the team have been able to accomplish, I'm curious to know, have you seen some success in sort of basically applying all those things that we talked about and helping our customers? Have you seen any success in that realm?
Yes, absolutely. And I should preface my answer by saying that our customers recognize the importance of that information at their fingertips for their operations. So they're actively looking for ways of bettering their operations at all time. Recently, we were approached by a mid-con operator that wanted to test our systems. They had really never used our systems. And after seeing the superior data quality that we were providing to them that gave them more insights that they didn't have in their operations, they converted their fleet to our instrumentation system and service. So that is a testament of how good we are at handling the data for the customers and giving them what they need.
Great. No, that's really good. And yeah, I would say quite a testament. So I think this is really helpful to kind of get more insight into how how you and the team really help our customers make meaningful decisions and optimize their business by the use of stewarding and providing that data to them. And maybe to that point, I'd love to go ahead and bring Shelby in to get some of the questions that we've had from folks who are watching us online. So again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to put those in. But Shelby, looks like we've had a couple already that have drummed up there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've gotten some really great conversation in the comments. So this first question, we were wondering, can you talk a little bit about how you ensure or guarantee that the data is accurate or of the highest quality? Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about it, but it's worth mentioning that we are OEMs of sensors, and every piece of equipment and wires and transmission mechanisms that are used for collecting the data and putting it at the customer's premise. So we make sure that everything we build is of the highest quality, that it's well calibrated, that is installed the correct way, and more importantly, that is maintained on the well site, and is the maintenance process exists. As part of that, we offer a sensor calibration and recertification service. So we know that our sensors are the best possible quality. And this is within the context of the industry standards. There is recommended practices both in our industry and in the general instrumentation industry that we follow closely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And this next question, I think I related almost to my world of social media when I read this. So whenever I'm looking to get more data from whatever tool I'm using, my first question is always, what can you show me? What can you tell me? But my next one is how can I use this to actually make a decision in my process? So can you talk a little bit more about what we offer in the way of visualization or analytics and how people can use that to make a decision?
Absolutely. So we have a very comprehensive offering in that area. We provide real-time operation centers to look at the quality and performance of the equipment that is deployed out there. In the case of the rigs, it's called the EHOC Center. And in the case of drilling, we call it the RTTC. And that's manned by a number of experts that are using our own technology to get insights and give recommendations to the customers. In addition to that, we make those same tools available to our customers. So they can do monitoring by exception, which means applying alarms when necessary to the data that is incoming, apply models, and apply analytical tools to define how well their operation is going and make corrective decisions. So in summary, what I'm saying is we're offering a full tool set developed within NOV that is available to the customers to use that information.
No, that's good. I know that when we have opportunities to talk in forums like this, we often are looking for additional insight or maybe even some articles that can provide some perspective. So do you have a place that we could send some of the viewers if they want to read more information from some subject matter experts or others?
Absolutely. So NOV recently started a campaign to make our customers aware how much we care about data from different aspects. So we have a number of our colleagues in the company writing articles during October and November on LinkedIn. So what we are going to do is we're going to post those links in the chat so everyone can go and look at those articles that cover many aspects of data. Data has many dimensions. So it's about how to access the information, the languages that are used, the quality of the data that is used, and several paradigms or misconceptions that need to be clarified, like the single source of truth for data. Mm-hmm. All of those are being covered in our articles.
Okay, and I'm sure we'll be able to put a link to the LinkedIn page where I know some of those articles are housed. I did want to get one more question in for you, Ramon. Actually, I just saw it come in. It looks like Lynette just asked. I think it's a good one. So she's asking, okay, it looks like that the approach that MD Totco has to be able to provide a platform for getting this data to customers. So the question is, is the data, is it made available to the customer? Is it inclusive of the initial installation of, in this case, like the Max Cloud Delivery Service, or is it something separate? How does that work? And I don't know if you can get too much into the weeds, but just enough for folks to kind of understand if they're interested. How does it work?
Well, so without getting too much into the weeds, because each one is going to be different in the sense that we have a standard offering, of course, but then we make sure that it's a good service and it's a comprehensive service. So we engage with the customers from initial request all the way to service activation and maintenance of the service to make sure that we understand their processes and we understand their challenges so we can do the implementation of that data delivery the best way. So we do keep the books open when we are implementing these services.
Okay.
If Lynette wants additional information, she probably can reach out and we can discuss it a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. And it looks like we got a couple more that may have come in. I don't know, Shelby, do you see? I wanted to get as many over to Ramon as we can before we sign off. I think we may have had a couple more that came in.
Absolutely, we did. I love that. I love when we get questions kind of in the last hour, last mile. So we had a few, actually 2 questions that came in from Rama and Hamdi. We're both kind of asking about backup systems, or if it was possible to maybe recollect data if there was a corrupted system, or kind of what that might look like.
Oh, those are good questions. Yes. So I'm going to start with the last one, which is the easiest one, and it's having to do with backup systems. So for critical operations, we try to run redundant systems to make sure that if there is a failure, we can gracefully recover, or not even have to recover, but continue operations. And that's on the systems themselves. And with respect to the backups of the data, that is a standard practice. And because of the topology of the network that we establish in the collection and transmission of the data, we have a source at the well site, and then the data gets transmitted to a central location, and from there, we're doing backups. So over the life of the data, there is more than one copy. So we know that we can get access to it, even if there is a catastrophic failure at the collection point. So that was a good question. The second, which has to do with collecting data from corrupted systems. So to a certain extent, we can do that, and that happens all the time in our operations. Think, for example, when there is a sensor that is collecting data afar from the data acquisition system, and there's a cable cut, or there is another type of problem with the collection of the data. Many of these sensors have memory, and we can collect the data afterwards from the memory and re-inject it into our system. It's what it's called downloading memory data and complementing the real-time streams. So that's one of the mechanisms that we can use to recover from corrupted data.
Hamdi and Rama coming in at the very end, but those are really good. So appreciate those, and everyone else that submitted questions, and also appreciate Ramon, you joining us as well. We appreciate you sharing your insights and perspectives. So been having Ramon Rodriguez, who is Director of Business Development within the MD Totco team. So Ramon, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Shelby.
All right. So speaking of Shelby, we'll go ahead and bring her back in to give us our Rig Geek Post of the Week trivia answer. So we're talking about data, and in this case, data on a rig. And what was the question? How many signals are captured? Is that right?
Yep, pretty much it. Yeah, it was there. There it is on screen. How many signals are captured from a drilling rig?
All right.
Yep, and the answer is drum roll. I don't know if y'all can hear the drum roll.
Yeah.
Is that for land rigs, it's approximately 2,000 plus, and about 30,000 plus for offshore rigs. I did want to note, though, so I don't know if you remember this, Michael, but years back, a lot of people out there believed that humans only use about 10% of their brain, and there was all of this unleashed under wraps power to the brain. Well, that may not be true, but when it comes to data, it is very similar to that, in that even though we have all of these signals, there's still so many more that maybe aren't being utilized yet, but are every year more and more of that in this field is coming to light. We're looking at early detection, failures, different ways to kind of measure while drilling. And so I know I'm really excited to see kind of what we learn and how many more of these thousands of signals we can put to use.
Yeah, well, there you go. Who knew that we'd be shifting from conversation on data to our brain, but here we are. So there you go. I appreciate it. I love it. Great. Well, thanks, Shelby. Really appreciate the help there. And as always, a special thanks to you, the viewers, for joining us and asking some great questions. And again, whether you're watching this live or once we've concluded our live broadcast, if you have questions, feel free to type it in. We're doing our best to always monitor these posts and certainly want to engage with you that way. Or if you'd like to just engage with us one-on-one, you can send us an email, and that will be socialmedia@nov.com, and we can get your question answered, or over to folks like Ramon and others here. So on behalf of everyone here at NOV, thanks for watching and for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.